This is a little tutorial on playing in third position in the Rabbath scale system, or the George Vance books. Playing at the nook of the neck or the heel of the neck is considered third position. So how I find that position is I find this area, the neck, with my thumb like this, and I put my hand kind of where it naturally falls. My thumb kind of naturally is behind my middle finger, which is what our typical hand structure looks like. The thumb is behind the middle finger on the neck. I just do the same thing. I put my thumb in the heel of the neck. I put the pad of my thumb in the heel, and I just put my fingers down. That's what it looks like on the E string. If I have my fingers over on the G string, it looks like this. And then I can double check that my first finger is on D. I can check with an open D string. It'll sound an octave. I can also play the harmonic, the D harmonic and the G string with my first finger. So I touch it and then push it down. And where the harmonic rings the best is where your D is going to be when you push the string down. So that's how I know where I'm in the right spot for third position. I can do the same thing on the D string with the A harmonic. So if I find my D, then A is right across. So I just go right across. So there's an exercise to find your place. As you do that enough times, finding D can become second nature, and it can be pretty easy. Now, the other thing is putting my pinky finger down, my fourth finger down on E, and I put all my fingers down with it to help strengthen that motion. So I just need to be conscious of how wide my fingers need to be. If I do too wide, I'm going to be sharp. If it's too close together, I'm going to be flat. So just kind of figuring out that whole step, and part of it is just knowing what it sounds like. You can also check with the E harmonic on the A string with your first finger. You don't have to move your hand at all, it's just right across. Same place where you have your D harmonic and A harmonic on the G and D strings. On the A string, you have an E harmonic you can compare. That's another way to check that. So I found my D and my E. I know where to put my hand to find D, and how far my fingers should be spaced apart to find E. And you just have to kind of get used to what that feels like. But now I can play D and E. I don't have to move my hand. Now if I keep my hand structure exactly the same, the distance is the same, I just move my fingers over to the D string, I can play A and B. A is with the first finger, B is with the fourth finger. There's A and B. Here's D and E on the G string again. Go to the D string, here's A and B. You can practice that for a little bit and just get familiar with what it feels like to play those notes, and just keep in that same structure and shape, keep in the same place on the fingerboard, and just moving over to the next string. You can play it slow, give yourself time to figure it out. So that's a little exercise you can do to get familiar with those notes. We can add in an open string, the G string. We can play a scale with 5 notes, also known as a pentatonic scale. So we can start with G, A on the D string, B with 4 on the D string, then 1 on D on the G string, 4 on E on the G string, over to the D string. So I'll demonstrate that again without talking. So notice that when I push my 4th finger down, I move these 3 fingers as a unit. It helps strengthen that 4th finger. I don't lift up my other fingers when I put down my 4th finger. That helps my finger use be more efficient. I also am careful to move my fingers all together when I switch strings. So that's basically playing a pentatonic scale with those 5 notes. A tune that's in the George Vance book that uses those notes is Shortnin Bread. Sounds like this. Tune to practice getting used to those positions. Hope that's helpful. That's just a beginning tutorial to get familiar with playing in 3rd position and getting used to moving across strings and keeping that hand structure consistent.